Welcome to Takshashila Gurukul channel. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please subscribe immediately, press the bell button and write your comments and feedback. Share with your friends as much as possible. We provide online Kundalini Raja Yoga initiation and Kundali activation in 6 months.
42. Sanyasa Yoga Instructions, Shruti for Varanambara Guha. The essence of the he prayed, have mercy on me, O Lord of the world, fulfill my desire, consider me truly happy, enriched, and guide me. Shiva joyfully said, Listen, O Lord of happiness, the asceticism you have heard about is a principle beyond karma. Among all types of asceticism, the asceticism of knowledge is the best. First, become righteous through good deeds, and focus on and practice the Shilavaha Sanyasa Yoga, picture it and ask for its details. 3. The 4 ashrams of Brahmacharya are 1. The Brahmacharya ashram is where one practices yoga by performing 3-day evening prayers, studying the Vedas, observing silence, and without shame, saying, salvation is better than begging for alms. 2. The Grihasthashram is where one practices yoga by bringing food from the homes of righteous people of one's own caste and practicing it with the help of a knowledgeable acharya, knowing the meaning of the Soma Yagya, Ashwamedha Yagya, and the horse sacrifices, and by performing daily activities with truth, honesty, and punctuality, and by performing charity and pious deeds without fail, and by offering offerings to one's ancestors and offering dakshina and services to one's gurus during the seasons. 3. Taking refuge in a forest, having built a pavilion, and practicing the good practices of the sages with one's wife, and practicing the essence of the powerful Shrutis, and having polished one's hair and nails in one's own body, i.e., the intention of giving up self-love, and being absorbed in the meditation of the Supreme Being who shines in one's body, is the Viniprastha-ashrama. Venerable Sir, I will tell you the science of the Sannyasa ashrama. The Sannyasa ashrama is the one who renounces all business, including women, and is indifferent to the material things of gold, earth, house, monastery, etc., and is in dual communion with the self alone. Today, I have left my wife, who, at the time of marriage, had taken a bath in the presence of all people and gods. Today, I have offered the ornaments of the household, such as the Yajopevita, the Shikha, head, and other symbols, to the fire, and I hold a wooden staff in my hand. O leafy staff, I think in my mind, protect me from the fear of wild animals, cattle, snakes, and snakes. Having given up the gold, daughter, and son that I had previously acquired, having abandoned the attractive poetry, having destroyed the bonds of fruition, and having realized my true nature through natural actions, the one who desires salvation takes up sannyasa. 10. He accepts the sannyasa ashram of renunciation of all associations, from a knowledgeable and ashram-trained guru. He chants Omkara Pranava, knowing that the worlds, the 3 states of consciousness, the 7 states of consciousness, and the 3 colors of love, the universe and the Vedas, Puranas and Agamas, were created from the letters A, U, and M in Om. The ascetic chants only one Pranava mantra. He abandons all other readings. He recites 12,000 japas in 3 times in 3 ways every day. He bathes daily and performs sandhyavandhana and remains clean. He does not touch the clothes and ornaments of others, and wears a kashaya kamandal. He brings alms from the houses of 10 Brahmins or Shiva devotees and eats without touching the fire again. He punishes his body and always says, Aham Brahmasmi, or Shivaham. He does not speak practical words that are not Brahman and are different from the soul. The soul alone wanders in meditation or gathers in a solitary temple chanting, Om Om. This is the karma sannyasa. I will explain its secret in detail. Listen, if a monk becomes a monk with any karma smell, his sannyasa is damaged. If he becomes a monk with a pure feeling, devoid of all smell, or with a mind devoid of lust, he can become pure and attain the Brahman status. But listen to the secret of karma sannyasa, but about the sannyasa of illusion. 14. Illusionary sannyasa, O cave, sannyasa is not a means of simply filling the stomach by leaving home and children. The feeling of detachment, nirliba, attained by the knowledge that the world is impermanent and by seeing the faults of things as true sannyasa. But the poor man who goes around, without a stomach and without a scalp, avoids the demands of creditors. He wanders from town to town. He who cannot earn enough to feed his wife, who fights with everyone, and who, when he learns that he can get food and clothes anywhere, immediately abandons everyone and becomes a monk to fill his stomach, is such a monk. He thinks he is a monk in delusion. If he becomes a monk, saint, for the sake of people, he will have to fall into the debt of people. He is addicted and never free. How can a self-deceiver do good to others? He only speaks words about Brahman that please the ears of those who listen. His body is adorned with the attire of a monk, but his mind only desires royal pleasures. How can the heart of a false deceiver who, out of great desire for pleasure, has abandoned his wife, who is pleased with external pomp, and has put on the garb of a monk, remain pure? This is his illusion. Knowing that sannyasa is only an illusion, he says to himself, I have no pride, I am consumed by pride. He gets angry at the slightest word, he counts the family in his mind and cries, he counts the japa gems in his hand. How can such a hypocritical ascetic attain the title of Brahma? Is true sannyasa acceptable to him? Know that he is destined for sannyasa. Listen to what is right. The corporations proclaim, Nisingosyam, the Supreme Being is without association. Is sannyasa for the body or for Brahman? Not knowing the true teachings of the corporation, if one shaves his head, one has to say sannyasa for his head. Know that he who pretends to be a sannyasa with pretension and pride is an illusion. 16. Is Brahman really a sannyasa by nature? There is. Brahman is always one, without all attachments, supremely detached, most pure, free from all thoughts, and only the form of knowledge. The Sadguru gives, Brahma Sannyasa, saying that you are such Brahman. Only the best master understands this teaching. He does not forget the initiation of the Guru. But the unmastered master forgets the characteristics of Brahman, Asanagatwadi, mentioned by the Guru, and deludes himself that Brahman is a bald head and an unwholesome body, and increases his pride by saying, I am a sannyasa, and by the enjoyment of his senses, he exudes body odor, and only with his mouth he says that I am Brahman. The blessed ones should stay away from such false sannyasas. Those with good intentions should respect and pay homage to those wearing the saffron kamandal if they see them. They should not argue with them, do not discriminate, and should treat them with devotion, worship them, and give them alms. The soul that takes refuge in the monasteries of monks is great. What will a sarak do if he does not follow the religion of the monastery without hypocrisy? Fools abandon the ashrams and take refuge in demonic qualities. The Ravan sannyasis, who do not know the Supreme Being, the all-abiding God, and the unthinking ones who follow them have no destiny. 21. Janana sannyas, O Lord, the sannyas of knowledge is that which dwells in the soul. The sannyas of knowledge is that which is without the company of the mind and senses, without the company of honor and dishonor, and without the enjoyment of this world, and without the soul being itself. Without the company of a good residence, without the company of the wicked, without the snare of the 5 faculties of ignorance, without sleep, short-sightedness, the trouble of many people, and without the company of sinners, that is the sannyas of knowledge. There is no association with the appearance of things. There is no gathering of people, no gathering of trade, no danger of lust and anger. When Brahma is gathered, knowledge is the sannyasa. Hunger, thirst, 7 cravings, 10 smells, 8 tastes are not associated with these. When Brahma is not surrounded by grief, that is knowledge. There is no association with learning, no association with differences, boasting, no association with minds, no affliction with past and future memories, no association with slander and adornments, no defect of doubt, excessive feelings, no association with the disguises of happiness and sorrow. Knowledge is the sannyasa where one is free from attachment and at peace with oneself in the feeling of soham. What is the result of knowing this? The house of the liberated bride, without entering this temple of liberation, but turning away like a donkey with his head shaved bare. There is no benefit from the path of action that one does not make with one's knowledge. Kamyanam karmanam nyasa sannyasam. Ityabhidyate, smriti, he who does nyasa of kamyakarmas, that is, sacrifice, is called a sannyasi. 29. Asterisk that which can be by itself without association is auspicious sannyasi. Sanghahara, sannyasi should not be said to be for the mind but for the body. The sannyasi of knowledge, which instructs the mind, is better than the sannyasi of action that increases the feeling of the body. The sannyasi of knowledge has no reason to shave his head. He has no benefit from the conquest of the wind. Know that sannyasi is not for the mind but for the body and life, and not for the inert elements. Those who are devoid of virtue have sannyasi of action first. The karma sannyasa, doing karma without any desire for reward, which is said to free the mind that has been planted in the company of the worldly beings, will bring him knowledge in the next life. If a karma sannyasa keeps company with the wise, he will become a wise person himself and will attain liberation without any fault. But one who is immersed in the passions of worldly life and who is attached to karma without any thought of the self, will not attain the Kandyan sannyasa and will not attain liberation. A Kandyan sannyasa is unstained even though he is in the worldly beings. Sin does not stain him like a lotus in water. But, a karma sannyasa is corrupt to commit sin. O enemy of Tarakasura, abandon the arduous karma sannyasa and take up Kandyan sannyasa. You do not want the dhavati, fatigue, of being submerged in water for 3 days without feeling cold or dirty. You are a form loser, this is the truth. The feeling that he is bodiless and pure, 36 Paramahamsa Shrama, Taralane, this is the simple path of enlightenment. After hearing the great words from the mouth of the Guru, he abandons the Dandakamandalas. He wears a Kirikaupinan and, without fear of cold, walks with his bare body, leaning on the ground. When he sleeps, he wears an old garment so that he may not be harmed by the ants. When he walks on the streets for alms, he carries a stick in his hand so that he may not be harmed by dogs and other animals. He walks around with love, calling himself Sohara. He asks for alms from 3 houses. He walks barefoot, without looking left or right, as Yoga Matradarshi, that is, he walks with 2 eyes in front of him. Without worrying about protecting his body, without talking to Kamalakshi, he meditates on the meaning of the powerful Srutis. He has no beds to sleep on, no scent for the incense, no company of men, no sweet air from temples, shrines, and monasteries. The Paramahamsa is free, blissful, and follows the path of action beyond knowledge. He burns the odor of the unscented incense and attains liberation without the stain of sin. Umasutana, I have told you the signs of the path of the Paramahamsa monastery. That is the path of action that is Karmahara. The pure Paramahamsa is called Avadhuta. The Srutis praise him as the Arudha. Thus I have told you the 5 asramas, starting from Brahmacharya to the Paramahamsa monastery. The first 4 of these asramas are for action. I will tell you the path of the Avadhuta, the path of the Karmahara, in the next chapter. Hearing the story of the Avadhuta, he becomes agitated and becomes a Bhaumata. O Vimalamati, you should become a monk of knowledge. As I have said, you are the one who is the mind. This is the truth. This is the Shruti's rule. One should not say this to one who does not give a single penny to others, to one who fights for a morsel of food, to one who is a shovel keeper. In order to teach Marahara thus, Shanmukha performed a happy arti for his father and, having enshrined the monkhood of knowledge in his mind, remembered Sri Chidanandatma Guruvara with great joy. 46.